In May 2004, the indie band the Charlatans were playing a show at Aberdeen Music Hall after the release of their 8th album, Up at the Lake. Little did they, or the 1,500 fans that were in attendance, know that by the next day, 1/3 of them would come down ill with intense vomiting, nausea, as well as aching muscles. This is that story. The band supporting them was Drive Blind. The drummer, Dave McKay, had this to say about the evening in an interview he did with the Press and Journal Evening Express. So we flew up from London especially to do that gig. For us at the time, we had sold out the Lemon Tree a couple of times and packed out Drummond's a few times, but this was the biggest venue we'd played in Aberdeen up to that point, so yes, it was a big deal for us. Although we had signed a record deal, we were still very much unknown to anyone outside of the Aberdeen area. Really, it was a homecoming of sorts. During the gig, there was nothing I saw that would have suggested what was about to unfold over the next couple of days. I remember playing drums and feeling absolutely rotten. It's a violent bug, so I was physically sick and had to stop. I was very much accustomed to playing drums while hungover and not feeling particularly great, but this was something of a different magnitude altogether. And Dave wasn't the only one. Initially, we thought this is a bit odd, but it's just some of our friends. But it escalated. By the time it had spread, a lot of people were ill, and the papers, the Evening Express and Press and Journal, were picking up that something had gone amiss with the gig. Funnily enough, a reviewer by the name of Ewan Cameron, who was at the gig for the same paper that interviewed Dave all these years later, had this to say. By the morning, I was throwing up so frequently, I was considering moving my duvet into the bathroom. I just thought it was a bit of food poisoning, but it wasn't until late afternoon that the word got out that it was connected to the Charlatans gig. This was 2004, so before smartphones and social media. I think I must have discovered the Charlatans link via a text message from friends who were feeling equally rough. The numbers of those affected just keep going up and up. Just days after the gig, the reports of people showing symptoms had reached over 300. The local branch of the NHS set up a call line. The NHS website wouldn't be a thing for another 3 years. As well as this, the music hall was shut down whilst it was thoroughly disinfected. This was becoming quite the problem. So after some testing, the culprit was found. Norovirus, also known as the winter vomiting bug. But remember, this was in May. The winter vomiting bug is most common in January. The virus is especially effective at spreading when it gets colder, as it's then when we tend to be closer with people, like on public transport and with family. Add to this, when it gets colder, we also tend to not have a window open, creating less ventilation. So how did the virus get into the venue then? Someone in the queue vomited on the steps, so as the doors opened, people walked in on their shoes. Remember, norovirus is very contagious. Just one person vomiting can release well up to 30 million virus particles. Only 100 of those are needed to enter your body to be infected. Add to this, the venue's air conditioning system kept the virus in there and made sure it made its rounds, resulting in 500 people from the show being infected. Now remember, these 500 people are going to go home and pass it to the people they live with and the people they work with, and by the end you can see how it picks up and becomes an epidemic-sized problem. Luckily, norovirus isn't too deadly. The only deaths that really come from it are those from extreme dehydration and malnutrition, which can be lethal to those who are older, immunocompromised, or women who are pregnant. And by day 3, it is extremely unlikely that you are still sick, but you could still spread the virus. Due to the nature of how the virus spreads, certain places can be extra susceptible to the virus becoming widespread. This includes university campuses, hospitals, which can have dire consequences if they have to be closed, and of course music venues, just like the one that happened at Aberdeen Music Hall. So, as the worldwide pandemic that we are currently in slowly comes to an end, let's be extra cautious next time we're at a music venue, but still enjoy ourselves. Or, at the very least, please don't walk through a pool of someone's vomit, as next time it may not be norovirus that we are dealing with. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's something a bit new for me. I want to cover more videos that have music related stories, so if that's something you might be interested in, please think about subscribing, and see you in the next one.